I have had some comments from several people about my tattoos. A lot of you guys want to see more of my tattoos and have me do a little tattoo tour. I have over 50 tattoos altogether. I'm gonna try to show you a series of videos, including all of my tattoos. They mean a lot to me. And yeah, so here are my first 10 tattoos. Hi there, I am Electric Linda and welcome back to my channel. A lot of people misunderstood when I was talking about the tattoos that I refuse to do because they have seen tattoos on my body that is not the tattoos that I want to make. Well, my answer to that is I didn't make them myself. What art I make is not always the same as the one I want to have myself. It's like if you were a painter. That doesn't mean that you only paint the art that you hang on your wall. You might also want some other art on your wall from other artists, which shows different styles and genres, because as I also talked about in another video was that I think that tattoos show our stories and our history. I think it's important not to overthink tattoos, and they don't always have to be perfectly combined together, and you gotta get tattooed when you want to get tattooed. My first tattoo was my mermaid. This was something I drew myself when I was 19, and I made this drawing because I found a photo of myself when I was like 8-9 years old, and I sat on the beach and I just liked that pose I had in the photo. So I used this and made her into a more voluptuous mermaid girl. So the original was only like down to here and no background at all. It was just her and sitting on the rock, and that was it really. I told myself that I only wanted my upper arms done, and then kind of the same day I got this armband done. I was very into stones, you know, those kinds of, this is an amethyst, the purple stone. It's like the creative spiritual stone that gives you kind of powers. I was all into that stuff like many years ago. So this is kind of the stone that I wanted to have, and this almost like a black tribal-ish pattern that goes around it. And then after, I think when I started my apprenticeship and I wanted a bigger tattoo, I had my my mentor to do the rest here and fill it out to make some small little fishies, and so it's kind of an underwater theme under here, and then you have the backgrounds and some clouds in the sky. So. And then I have the witch in the flames. I wanted to kind of show that I had two sides in my personality. So the mermaid on the other side is more like the nicer, the innocent in me, and then you have the witch, which is more the darker side of me. I was very much into witch stuff, witchcraft. I actually had a seminar at school where I talked about spiritism, we called it, but it's more like when you call out the demons with a Ouija board. That was one of my biggest hobbies back then. I was like 20 years old and I thought that was so cool, you know? So yeah, I was kind of the witch. I was even in a pagan circle. I have different levels of spirituality and mentality, and I'm not religious in any way. It's more like I believe in stuff. I don't want kind of a religion to control what I should feel. You don't have to agree with me at all. I just think it's nice that we can all be different, right? I don't know if you can see this. It's the It's the Om sign in my neck because I have no idea. I was kind of in a almost like a Buddhist kind of era in my life, and I was very spiritual, and I loved thinking about astrology and afterlife and everything. It was just very intriguing to me. So that was kind of, and I just liked the symbol. It was spiritual, and I felt like I was in the spiritual mood at the time. I was at a convention. It was one of my first conventions actually. It was in Copenhagen in 2001. I had just made my first back piece. Yes, I had just been tattooing for like a year and I had already made my first back piece. And she actually came with us to this convention and she entered a contest, most beautiful back piece, and we won. So yeah, that's my first awards actually. It's my little wooden Viking head on the top of my shelf back there. But on this convention, I was kind of bored because my colleague had a booth and he didn't have any clients at that time. So he made this cherry on me, but it was not these colors at all. It was just the cherry without any background. My next tattoo was probably one of the most painful I've ever done, and it's one of the ugliest. This star used to be kind of, kind of nice, and it was kind of correct, but now it's not, it doesn't have the sharpness in it, and some of the lines have become very blurry and fat, and like this is how a star gets after years. And we didn't even put it in the center of the elbow, which is here. That's the center of my elbow, and that's the center of the star. Yep. Maybe I'll do something about that later on, but I have too many tattoos to fix, so one at a time, okay? Oh yeah, and then I actually got I got two little butterflies here. You can't see them now anymore. I tattooed them myself, and I also made the same one on two of my, back then it was my two best friends in the world. We lived together for a few years, we partied and we had so much fun. It was in my early 20s and we had so much fun, and we were like the best girlfriend trio. We did everything together. So we had this friendship tattoo, and that was so nice, but life goes on, and I covered the tattoo up with some stuff later on. Oh, and then I have the naked lady on the inside of my calf. I actually tattooed this myself. The art itself is made of one of my heroes, Boris Lady. I have several books from him, and he drew and painted these science fiction, fantasy, realistic style. He was such an inspiration to me during my first years as a tattoo artist, so I tattooed this myself. Do not try this at home. It's kind of complicated to tattoo yourself. It's very weird because you have to give the pain and take it at the same time, and that's not a good thing when you try to do something that is gonna be beautiful forever. It has become a bit blurry after some years, but it doesn't matter. It's 18 years ago, so it's kind of an old tattoo. And then there was another tattoo convention in Oslo, actually. This was in 2002. I had this Kala fairy done. It was done by Joachim from 𝐓𝐇𝐀𝐿 in Moss. The silly thing is that I don't see it that often, so I kind of have to like take pictures of it and see it because I can't see it that well in the mirror. So yeah, those were my 10 first tattoos that I had done, and stay tuned for the rest of my tattoos. Bye bye.